The housing market is still feeling the one-two punch of low inventories and soaring prices. Joining us now for more on all things housing is Odeta Kushia, first American Deputy Chief Economist. Odeta, good to see you this morning. One of the major problems here in housing, you can't have strong sales if there is no inventory. What continues to hold back these builders from making more homes?
Yeah, it's exactly right. You can't buy what's not for sale. And so builders are facing multiple supply side headwinds. So they have a chronic skilled labor shortage. There are these supply bottlenecks that are preventing them from bringing more homes to market, and certainly rising costs as well. So very difficult for builders to bring homes to market, to break ground on new homes. And then on the existing home front, a lot of existing homeowners are hesitant to sell, particularly in a rising rate environment. They are locked into these ultra low mortgage rates, and they really don't have a financial incentive to sell their homes and lock in a higher mortgage rate. And so all of that's contributing to this low inventory environment.
Well, of course, the other issue is you can't buy what you can't afford, right? And we have seen prices go up by so much in so many areas of the U.S. Are we going to see any mitigation of that, particularly as rates go up? Sometimes you do see housing prices start to moderate a little bit. Do you expect that this time?
We should start to see some house price moderation. As you mentioned, we're seeing double-digit house price growth in combination with rising mortgage rates. So purchasing power is declining. So that should cause some buyers to kind of pull back from the market, result in fewer or less intense bidding wars, and ultimately in a moderation of house price growth.
Odeta, what about the prices for renters? What's your outlook there?
Rental prices are still high. I mean, you have a lot of people kind of moving back to cities, maybe going back to the office. A lot of pressure on the rental side as well, for the near term.
And Odeta, going back to mortgages and the relationship between mortgages and prices, you went back and looked at different eras in history when we saw this kind of pattern. Tell us what you learned.
So we learned that house prices are what we call downside sticky, which means sellers would rather withdraw from the market rather than sell at lower prices. So in all six rising mortgage rate eras, we didn't really see house prices fall. We may have seen them moderate a little bit, but unlikely to fall. And certainly in today's housing market, that supply-demand imbalance is so severe that it will keep house price growth positive.
How much do you think this lack of inventory in housing, Odeta, will hold back the U.S. economy this year?
Well, we've had this inventory issue, for quite some time, and the concern really is that, you're seeing the lack of inventory is contributing to faster house price growth, which is then obviously feeding into more inflation, right? The shelter component of the CPI is so large, and so all of that house price appreciation is feeding back into the overall inflation level, and so that's a concern as well.
So all said and done, when you're looking at this year for housing sales and home prices, what is your outlook?
Demand is still very, very strong. You have this robust demographic demand from millennials aging into their prime home buying years. And of course, that decade-long underbuilding is contributing to a shortage of inventory. And so we're looking for continued house price growth, but maybe moderating from that 2021 peak, but still very strong demand for this year.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Odeta Kushia, first American Deputy Chief Economist. Good to see you. Have a great weekend.